All right, now that we have a new composition, I want to set up something that we can move around. Very easy. We're going to look at the text. So text tool, we're going to type in something like maybe a J. All right, now you can set the width and height of the J over here. It works just like a standard manipulation of text tool in all Adobe applications, Microsoft Word, whatever. Very easy to understand. But I typed in 250 pixels for this. Now, if I want to move the J around, I can using the black arrow. And if I wanted to ever change it to something like the letter A, I would have to go back to the text tool and change it to A. Okay, those are your two main tools as far as that goes. You have the magnify class, which is the zoom tool, which is also, you can zoom in using zoom on the wheel mouse and using Alt. Okay, you can do it that way. You can zoom in on the timeline by zooming in and out here. And the hand is your composition hand. Basically, I can, if my composition is very small, I can move it around over here, over here. I don't use the hand very often. I do use Alt wheel mouse a lot to see the composition lined up. And then once I'm zoomed in, maybe I use the hand then just to get in and out. All right, so that's some basic 101 navigation. Now we're moving the camera around basically, somewhat, you as the camera. Now let's look at maybe moving the A around, and we're going to toggle some just basic animation with it. So first off, let's go back to the selection and drop this down. Okay. Now below that we have transform, and each one of these things can be keyed, it's called. So a keyframe is just at one beginning instance of time, something happens and something occurs. And then you can change it based upon another keyframe. So in this case, I have 30 seconds. And I know that because I can zoom way out. And here's my little bar. And this little bar represents time. And the time states 30 seconds if it's stretched all the way across. All right. We're going to look at something like toggling maybe opacity or motion. Let's look at opacity first. So let's start at the first frame. Click the stopwatch below. And I have set a key in motion. Okay. This is 100% opacity. All right. Maybe in 15 seconds, I want it to become 0 opacity. And then maybe at 30 seconds, I want it to become 100% opacity. So what happens is between here and there, I become no opacity and full opacity. Very good stuff. Now, if I ever want to get rid of the keyframes, I can hit the delete on the keyboard to get rid of the keyframes. That will not get rid of the letter. I can set keyframes for anything. Let's say position. This time I'll start with a position of maybe up here. And then in 15 seconds, I'm going to put it here. So now what happens is between 0 and 15 seconds, it drops down. Let's say I want it to become invisible at first. I'll set a keyframe. And then when it reaches 15 seconds and lands on the timeline or the place here in the composition, I want it to become full opacity. All right, now what happens is it looms down and starts becoming full opacity. If I wanted to move that, I could. I could move these keyframes by hand, and now it starts becoming a little bit more visible later on. Just like that. So that is some beginning 101 keyframing. Let's go on to the next video.